Welcome to our daily reflection for this Tuesday, May 21st. And today we pick up where we left off before Ash Wednesday. And so right before Ash Wednesday, when we're in ordinary time, we were reading the first reading from the book of James, the Epistle of James. And we haven't heard from James because ordinary time was interrupted by extraordinary time, by the season of Lent, the 40 days of Lent, and then by the 50 days of Eastertide, so Easter season. And then yesterday, Monday, was the feast of Mary as the Mother of the Church, which follows after Pentecost. And that was a feast day, so we had special readings for that from the book of Genesis. And now we go back to ordinary time, and the church picks up in the middle of the book of the Epistle of James. And so that kind of might throw us off a little bit, like, wait, where are we? And now we're reading in the middle of James chapter 4, right in the middle of the Epistle of James. So we're actually, if you remember, this was the book of James that we read right before Ash Wednesday. So we go back to that. And here what's beautiful is it's a tale of two loves, is what James highlights for us. And he talks about, you have not because you ask not, and because you ask for the wrong things. And so that asking, what we desire, what we want, reflects our desires, and desire reflects love. And so what we desire reflects the state of our heart. And so James is teaching us this so that we can do a meditation to examine our desires, our petitions, and what we ask for, what we wish for, right? Whether we ask of it of the Lord or we ask and wish it for others. And then that should tell us, and it bifurcates according to James. In other words, there's two different ways we can go. We could become a lover of the things of this world, so that we desire the pleasures and comforts and wealth of this world. And we're going to hear a lot about wealth over the next few days for the rest of this week in the Epistle of James. Or we could love God and the things of God. But these two loves are in tension and they're in conflict. And so he'll say, if you're a lover of the world, then you're at enmity with God. And because what we love, if we love the things of this world, we're going to love those more and more, and we'll love God and the things of heaven less and less. And so that's the lesson. Now, the key to this for James, to unlocking the right loves and being faithful to the authentic love of God, is humility. And he says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. And then again, he ends the exhortation with, humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will exalt you. And so humility is repeated because that's going to be the key means to having the right desires. Because if we're humble, we realign our desires and our will to God's will. If we're proud, we want God to realign his will and his laws to our will. And so the proud are constantly telling the church, society, God, and even nature what they should really be about. That is conforming to their will. Whereas the humble man always conforms to nature, to God, and to God's law. And so that's a huge difference. And so that idea of humility, and then of course that is echoed in the gospel. So humility becomes the definitely emergent theme here in the readings today. And so you have Jesus saying, if anyone wishes to be first, he's speaking to his apostles, they must be last of all and a slave to all. And so there's this desire that the apostles have to be first. They want to be top in the pecking order. And again, this is a worldly desire, right, for rank and to be above others. And it's status and prestige. And it fulfills our vanity and our desire to be important. And Jesus flips this on its head and he says, no, if you want to be in my kingdom and you want to be important in my kingdom, you have to be a slave to others. You serve. And so in hierarchy, Jesus shows that the higher you are in the hierarchy of the kingdom of God, the more you serve those below you. Whereas in the world, hierarchy means you're over more and more people and they serve you. And so there's a very great inverse of this. And that's why humility will be necessary if we're pursuing the kingdom of God, because if we are to avoid vanity and pride, which choke out love, and we have to have humility. And so Jesus gives us the image of humility, and it's a child. And a child is more focused on relationship than on things. And that gets back to what James was saying about lovers of this world who ask for things rather than to ask for God's grace and to draw closer to God. And so the question in some ways is, are we ordered towards things, which is the world, or are we ordered towards persons, with God being the highest? That is a question for our reflection today. So James and the gospel gives us deep points for meditation, and it's a tale of two loves. On which track are we on? May the Lord bless and keep you.
This daily reflection is brought to you thanks to the generous support of the Mission Circle. Join the Mission Circle to help Catholics worldwide understand, live, and share their faith. Sign up at missioncircle.org today.